MCAT 2017 Cram, Critical Analysis and Reasoning Skills, Flashcard Set 20.1, Huns and Eurasian History. As you view the reading of the passage, you'll notice some highlighted snippets of text. What I want you to do is garner meaning from these specific selections in order to answer the foundations of comprehension questions that follow. The questions really aren't that bad, and the passage is pretty manageable. So good luck and happy reading. Paragraph 1. The greatest territorial expansion and the greatest power of the Hun Empire in the West was when the center of their activities reached Pannonia. Pannonia was an ancient province, pictured here, of the Roman Empire, bounded in the north and east by Danube, coterminous westward with Noricum and Upper Italy, which you probably can't see here, and southward Dalmatia and Upper Moesia. Okay? Under the leadership of Attila. Attila being a leader of the Hunnic Empire, which was a tribal confederation of Huns. And here goes his side profile rendering. I don't know how accurate this is. He's supposed to be like Mongolian or something, so this might not be too accurate. So don't crucify me if you don't think this is the exact rendering of Attila, okay? Because I've had some people message me on stuff like that. Ostrogoths and Alans, among others, on the territory of Central and Eastern Europe. Greek and Latin sources indicate that Attila was of royal lineage, a line which for generations had ruled the Huns. Attila was a great statesman who did great deeds. He was a wise ruler, a skilled diplomat, and a fair judge. With good reason, he should be considered a prominent figure in the first millennium AD. The Hun land under Attila's control consisted of 4 areas. The northern border of the kingdom stretched from the Huns' homeland to the west of Germany. In the south, both Roman empires, that is, the Eastern Roman and the Western Roman Empire, were paying tribute. Tribute meaning payment made periodically by one state or ruler to another, especially as a sign of dependence, to Attila. In terms of its territory and influence, Attila's empire covered geographically almost all the 4 corners of the known world, from east to west and from north to south. The Hun territory ran from east to west, from Altai, Central Asia, and the Caucasus to the Danube and the Rhine. The Huns' union in Central Asia contributed later to the emergence of the Kazakh nation and other Turkic peoples. By accumulating and concentrating power, the Hun ruler organized an invasion of Western Europe in order to expand the territory of his state. And so the Catalonian fields of Champagne, that is Gaul, became the place for the decisive major battle. Parisians were frightened of Attila's cruelty and anger, so they decided to send women and children and some belongings to a safe place. There, Saint Genevieve turned up, and she resolved to persuade women not to leave the city in which they had been born and grown up, in the hour of danger, and moreover to prepare themselves and their men to the defense. Saint Genovia told the women to ask God for help and salvation. They listened to Genovia and decided to stay in the city and rely on God's mercy. Paragraph 2. In the evaluation of the largest battle, a number of Western history scholars, both modern and contemporary, drew on information from the chronicles of the early Middle Ages and used them uncritically. The objective evaluation of historical reality is always difficult. A Belgian historian, Perrin, concluded that Attila was getting through the Rhine in the spring of 451 AD, devastated everything up to the Loire. Aetius stopped him with the help of the Germans near Troyes, the Franks, Burgundians, and Visigoths, and others were good allies. Just note, there's like a lot of weirdly organized and orchestrated names here, so if you don't know the exact pronunciation, don't harp on it, because more than likely you're not going to need to know the correct pronunciation to answer the questions. You'll just need to be able to recognize a name or two, okay? So, while you should know how to enunciate and sound out the syllables of words, it's not the priority for the exam, okay? The military art of the Romans and German bravery cited everything here. Attila's death in 453 AD resulted in the collapse of Hun power and thereby saved the West. In our opinion, the situation in Gaul can be explained by the over-large scale of Attila's campaigns and the inability to restrain dozens of tribes and entities that were not related to the Huns socially and ethnically within the vast territory under the unified leadership. But let us return to the momentous meeting of 452 AD. In the spring of 453 AD, the ruler of the Hun Empire, Attila, died. All right, that's it. That wasn't that bad. Which of the following statements does the author not imply about Attila? Is it A, the Hun land under Attila's control consisted of 4 areas? Is it B, there were people who were frightened of Attila's cruelty and anger? Is it C, there are multiple sources that indicate that Attila was of royal lineage? Or is it D, Attila was often cruel to his own people? Press pause if you need to, and I'll give you a moment to think. All right. Okay, so as you can see, the correct answer choice is answer choice D. There are sentences in the passage that support answer choices A, B, and C. In paragraph 1, the author writes, quote, the Hun land under Attila's control consisted of 4 areas. Okay, so this is mentioned. And, quote, Parisians were frightened of Attila's cruelty and anger, so they decided to send women and children and some belongings to a safe place. Okay? And also in paragraph 1, the author writes, quote, Greek and Latin sources indicate that Attila was of royal lineage. Although the passage does talk about the Parisians who Attila was trying to conquer, fearing his cruelty, there's no suggestion that he was actually cruel to his own people, maybe to other groups. Okay, so we can't just go ahead and make this assumption. That's why this is the correct answer choice. Okay, all right. Which of the following statements best expresses the passage author's main message? Is it A, The Hunnic Empire was complex and ethnically diverse? Is it B, Attila led a powerful empire and came close to conquering Western Europe? Is it C, Attila was greatly feared throughout the West? Or is it D, the Huns employed ultimately unsuccessful military tactics? I'll give you a moment to think and definitely press pause if you need to. If you're having difficulty answering, open up a second window to view the passage and search for the text support to select the correct answer choice. All right. Okay, so in this Foundations of Comprehension question, you're being asked to recognize an accurate paraphrase or summary of the central theme, okay? So the author briefly mentions that the empire was ethnically and religiously diverse towards the end in paragraph 2, only to suggest one possible cause of the Attila's failure to take Western Europe, okay? So answer choice A is incorrect. As for answer choice C, while paragraph 2 explains that many people feared Attila and that Attila's forces were unsuccessful at Champagne, those points are not the author's main message. The author spends a significant amount of time describing the impressive geographic reach of the Hunnic Empire in paragraph 1, okay? And closes the passage by suggesting that Attila's death was a lucky turn of events for the West, suggesting how close he was to succeeding. So the correct answer choice is answer choice B. Attila led a powerful empire and came close to conquering Western Europe. All right. Okay. Information in the passage most strongly suggests that one scholarly disagreement about the Huns might entail A, the factors that led to the Huns failing to conquer Western Europe, B, the influence Eurasian diet and religion on Hunnic culture, C, the emergence of the Kazakh nation and other Turkic peoples, or D, the actual cause of Attila's death in 453 AD. Definitely press pause if you need to, and I'll give you a moment to think. If you're having difficulty answering, open up a second window to view the reading of the passage and search for support in selecting the correct answer choice. All right. Okay, so this is probably a really easy question if you recall some of the details of the passage. The passage gives alternative explanations for why the Huns lost at Champagne or Gaul, so it's looking like answer choice A is going to be the correct answer choice. The author cites Perrin, who claims that, quote, the military art of the Romans and German bravery decided everything in the battle at Gaul. Okay, the author then goes on to subscribe meaning express or feel with agreement with an idea or proposal, to the alternate point of view that the failure to win in the West was due to Attila's, quote, over large-scale campaigns and social and ethnic divisions. This is mentioned in paragraph 2. There is no mention of a Eurasian diet or religion as answer choice B expresses, so this is going to be incorrect. While the nature of the emergence of the Kazakh and Turkic peoples or the cause of Attila's death may or may not be subject to historical debate, the author doesn't imply the existence of a scholarly debate by presenting alternative points of view on both of these subjects. So yeah, these are not up for consideration either. And the correct answer choice is answer choice A, the factors that led to the Huns failing to conquer Western Europe. All right. Okay,